In this video, I would like to share about Grab's latest earnings and the key reason why it caused Grab's share price to drop more than 10%. For Q4 of 2024, we can have a quick look into the revenue. The revenue actually increased by 17% Y on Y, and their on-demand gross merchant value actually increased by 20% year on year as well. So these results are actually pretty good, but this is actually expected from a growth company like Grab. So I'm not surprised. But what is actually made a priority for 2024 is profitability, and there's a figure that I really do not like seeing. And the figure is consumer incentive. If you were to look at the consumer incentive for Q4 of 2024, it's actually at 308, and for Q4 of 2023 is actually 225, and this is actually a 37% increase from a Y on Y perspective. Considering that profitability is actually a priority made for 2024, this shows that they are unable to increase or maintain the growth while increasing their profitability. This begs the question of, are they able to maintain their prices in the midst of all the competition? Because of this increase for the consumer incentive, you will realize that for deliveries, EBITDA actually decreased from 2.1% to 1.8% as a percentage of the GMV. And similarly, for mobility, the EBITDA also decreased from 8.7% to only 8.4%. Does Grab really have a strong moat? For a company like Grab, their core client is actually not the passenger but the driver. The supply is actually the core client. And the amount of incentive that they provide for the drivers is around 128 million compared to 112 1 year ago. But if you were to look at their partner incentive, you realize that they did manage to maintain or slightly increase their partner incentive from Q4 of 2023 to Q4 of 2024, from 112 to 128, 60 to 75. But if you were to look at their consumer incentive, it increased by a huge amount from 173 to 234. Furthermore, for the mobility side, it increased from 48 million to 70 million, and this is a huge increase. If you were to really think about it, the management raised several key priorities, for example, for revenue, EBITDA, and all the different metrics. But at the core, the most important metric is growth, right? For a growth company, if they are not very profitable and if they are unable to even provide revenue growth or MTU growth, then this company is bound to fail. So I guess it makes sense for them to actually spend more on consumer incentive to maintain the growth while it does hit the EBITDA slightly. From a perspective of a Singapore Grab user, I think they do have a moat. They have the biggest pool drivers and definitely competitive prices. I mean, if I were to be blocked by Grab, I would definitely feel restricted. And they are definitely top of mind for many Singaporeans. But if their prices are no longer competitive, I'm sure they will definitely lose a lot of customers. I mean, it's like going to the supermarket. If the prices are generally cheaper, you will visit it without thinking. But once it becomes clear that the prices are more expensive, you will not be the first choice for most people anymore. I can actually share with you an example for Grab. So if you can see from here, I'm not sure if you can see, I actually booked a location from Buangkok to Ion Orchard. Both of the location is actually in Singapore, and this is actually $16.80. And if you would look at their competitor, which has the rumor of a buyout, if I were to choose the same location, you will realize that the price is around $16.60. And for its local competitor, which provides taxis, the price is actually at around $22.90. And you can see that actually Grab's price is quite competitive. But if their price were to be way higher than their other competitors, this might be an issue. Currently for Grab in Singapore, they have several competitors. You can see from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab being the biggest, and Zik and Gojek being the second and third, and Tada and Ride is also in the mix. Furthermore, for 2025, there will be 2 more ride-hailing operators to hit the road in Singapore. This might increase the competition, as Transcab is actually not new to providing transportation service in Singapore. So I do believe that for 2025, in terms of mobility, I do believe that their EBITDA will be pressured. Now that people feel that the mode is not as strong, you are unable to get the customers to pay premium prices for the service. This actually resulted to the share price of Grab decreasing by more than 10%.